This is an EWB production. Hi, I'm Emmy Birch.
And I am Sandy Thornton, and this is the Take Us With You podcast.
Hey, Sandy, what's the Take Us With You podcast all about?
So glad you asked. In a sea of badness coming out of every news station, let's provide some light, laughter, and levity to this strange time we are living in.
I'm so glad that we're going to be going with you wherever it is you're going. Thanks for taking us with you. Welcome to the show. Hello, Sandy!
Hello, Emmy. How are you?
I'm so good. Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 11 of the Take Us With You podcast. We are in summer recording mode. How are you?
I am feeling light and breezy and loving summer. Yeah? How about you doing? That wasn't
doing the same. It was words. I got you.
Long in a sentence, and yet I'm there, so
I got you. We have to get back in the groove. We've taken some weeks intentionally to have some summer vacations and summer break. I've been reading, working on curriculum, designing some content, taking some time to see all the family. We did the Birch Family Adventure, which was squeeze as much family into 1 week as possible. So like 10 days, 5 different beds, every family member we could.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. But sometimes that's just the way of the world. And especially if you have family that lives across the United States or just in other locations, it's like slam it together, get it done.
It was fun. We went to some of the coolest places to run. Everything from flat and super humid to really hilly and quite chilly.
Okay. Where was your chili?
Chicago was a little chilly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything had that little bit of summer humidity. It's been great. I'm really excited for today's show. We're talking about Enneagrams and discs. We've been doing some personal digging this summer.
I feel like this is the summer, as I turn 40, where I figure out what is going on in this head. Go me.
Hey, happy early birthday. I'm so excited we all get to live through you turning 40. It's so much fun.
Really good. So the 30s decade, it was kind of tumultuous. And I'm really looking forward to 40s. Going to be my best decade. I can feel it, you guys. Feel it.
I can't wait. I'm right here supporting you. Speaking of supporting you, I have some dad jokes to kick us off with. Let's see if I can deliver. I'm pondering eternity. It's taking forever. Here's the next one. Velcro. What a ripoff. Here's the last one. I wrote a song about tortillas. Well, actually, it was kind of more of a rap.
I love these, and I love that I hear them like in real time because they just make me giggle. They're good.
These are all thanks to my father. My dad is like the king of dad jokes. He's almost as good as Theo with the dad jokes. But those are straight from my father, my padre.
Yes, and what is his name?
Eric Williams. He's amazing.
Out. Yes, I am loving his dad jokes.
His dad jokes are pretty funny. He uses them as mic checks. So tell us about the news. What's going on in the news these days?
Well, I found an article, and the title is Woman Faces Felony Charges for Forgetting to Return Sabrina the Teenage Witch VHS tape from 20 years ago. You ever watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch with
Sure did.
Yes.
Sure did.
Yes. Have you seen the newest reboot?
No.
In Shipka. It's a lot darker. It's not quite as like light and funny and fancy free. Okay, so this is from a website called allthat'sinteresting.com, and I haven't read this, so you and I and whoever's listening, we're all going to read this at the same time. So start with a quote. The first thing she told me was felony embezzlement, so I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So do you remember getting VHS tapes from the video store? I mean,
I do. There was a video store right down the road from our house next to a really good Chinese food restaurant. And we would do that almost every Friday as a family when we lived in Baton Rouge and when we lived in Louisville. And so we would go, we would scope it out, and like it was labeled, and the VHS wasn't inside the box because, you know, you could steal it that way.
100%. Yes.
You took the empty box up to the counter to get the VHS, and you paid a fee if you didn't rewind it.
Yes. And so, like, kids listening now, this is called a blast from the past. You don't have to worry about this in our new digital age. But back in the 90s and even the early 2000s,
yes,
you go to a place called a video store, and you would rent and
and you would get charged like late fees, like a library, for not bringing them back on time.
So let's dig into this. A woman in Texas received a nasty shock while trying to update her married name. She was a criminal for a crime she didn't even remember committing. In fact, she was guilty of a crime most people of a certain age have probably committed. Like, I am the certain age. That's me, certain age. 20 years ago, she forgot to return a VHS tape. Karen McBride, 52, made the discovery during a trip to the DMV. A former Oklahoma resident had moved to Texas and gotten married and needed to update her information. Quote, I went to change my driver's license during this COVID thing. I had to make an appointment, end quote. They told me that I had an issue in Oklahoma. McBride was mystified. She called the number that the DMV had provided and was connected to the Cleveland County District Attorney's Office. During that conversation, McBride was floored to learn that she was a wanted felon. Oh, and there's a picture of her. Hang on, let me see if there she is. This is
Okay. Hello.
you, Karen McBride. The first thing she told me was felony embezzlement, so I thought I was going to have a heart attack, McBride said. Then she learned what crime she had committed. She told me that it was over the VHS tape and I had to make her repeat it because I thought, this is insane. This girl is kidding me, right? She wasn't kidding. In 1999, in high school, someone had rented a copy of Sabrina the Teenage Witch in McBride's name from an Oklahoma video store called Movie Place. When no one returned the VHS cassette, charges were filed. Like, I didn't even know, like, pause. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought they basically just ate it. Like, when people didn't return it, it's like, oh, sorry.
Or like outlawed you from renting VHS from their place ever again. I didn't know you could make a criminal charge for a $12 VHS. How much were VHSs? I forget.
I don't even remember, but I feel like it was, not a lot.
I remember DVDs were like 30 or 40.
But the thing is, like, don't the police have enough actual issues to have to deal with even in the early aughts? Like, I can't imagine getting a call, being a police officer, and having someone be like, sorry, someone didn't return a...
Hey, I have a non-emergency. I have a non-emergency emergency. We're missing Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Legit crimes happening in the world. Okay, anyway. In Okay, got it. According to court documents, McBride was charged in March 2000 for felony embezzlement of rented property. The charges stated that McBride did willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously embezzle a certain one video cassette tape, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, of the value of $58.95.
So what does she do now? Does she pay it?
I don't know. So it says McBride was stunned. Not only did she not remember ever renting the VHS cassette, but she didn't even like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I have never watched that show in my entire life. Just not my cup of tea, McBride said. Meanwhile, I'm a wanted felon for a VHS tape. McBride added, I didn't try to deceive anyone over Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I swear.
That's like, have you ever played Two Truths and a Lie?
Yes.
That would be the best, Two Truths and a Lie.
Oh, lordy day, yeah. As she absorbed the shocking news, it dawned on her how such a thing could have happened. In 1999, she had a roommate. Well, there's the problem, roommates.
There you go.
I'd lived with a young man. This was over 20 years ago, McBride explained. He had 2 kids, daughters that were 8, 10, or 11 years old, and I'm thinking he went and got it and didn't take it back or something. In fact, the more McBride thought about it, the more other parts of her life seemed to be making sudden sense. Since 1999, she had been fired from it. She had been fired from a handful of jobs, and her employers had never given her a reason. Obviously, this links back to VHS felonies. Now she thinks her quote-unquote criminal background is why. No, I can probably think of a slew of other reasons, but we're going to keep going.
I think we're going to look into some of those reasons when we unpack this Enneagram and disc thing here in a second. What?
Wow. When they ran my criminal background check, all they're seeing is those 2 words, felony embezzlement, McBride said. Fortunately, it seems that McBride won't be a felon for much longer. The Cleveland County District Attorney Office announced that they would dismiss her case against her. Well, thank God. However, McBride will still need legal intervention to have the felony charges cleared in her record. We're almost done. I'm sorry. Stories like
This is
McBride.
hilarious.
Stories like McBride's are an echo of an era long past. The store where McBride rented Sabrina the Teenage Witch closed in 2008. Blockbuster, once the largest video rental chain in the United States, closed most of its locations in 2014 after declaring bankruptcy in 2010. However, McBride isn't alone in the accidentally keeping a VHS tape past its return date. And surprisingly, she's not the first person to face charges for it. Okay, this blows my mind, and I'll tell you in a second. In 2016, a North Carolina man was arrested for failing to return a VHS cassette he rented in 2002. Freddie got fingered. That man was arrested after being pulled over for a busted tail light. Oh, this keeps going. Okay, we're basically done with this. So,
but oh my gosh, y'all, if you have any, check your criminal records if you didn't return your VHS.
We did that in college. My girlfriends and I, we took, and this was in Potsdam, New York, teeny tiny little town, Northern New York. Shout out Potsdam. There's a video store there called Northern Video, Village Video, something along the lines video.
Something video.
And we took the VHS copy of, I think, The Sweetest Thing and just held on to it. And then we all moved across the country. And I don't know who still has it, but like, this could
Village Video. I have her here in my video screen if you need to file a complaint.
In the clutches of this Zoom call right now.
Oh my goodness. Things that we didn't think we would ever be. I mean, come on. VHSs are a thing of the past. Do you even have a way to play a VHS? I mean, we don't even play DVDs at our house.
We do have some antiquated DVD players, and we have a buttload of DVDs. But like, I can't tell you the last time we watched one. I really cannot. Because everything's streaming now. Because
everything's streaming. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, let's talk about why our dear friend from your news article might have gotten fired other than stealing the VHS. You said that you had to do a disc and an Enneagram for work. So which one do you want to unpack first?
Let's do Enneagram because it's so exciting and telling.
Okay, so for people who don't know, what is an Enneagram?
Okay, so let me pull it just so I have a visual because I'm a visual learner as well. Okay, so an Enneagram, it's basically a personality-based test. You answer a slew of questions, and based off of your answers to these like hypothetical moments, experiences, it will assign you a number 1 through 9. And each number has different character traits that are associated with it. And I have never done this before. Like I've done a lot of different kind of personality-based testing just because I think it's interesting. But I took my test, I got my number, and I was blown away. The accuracy of it. And I know everyone's a little different. And so what I feel might be different, Emmy, than what you feel. And some of my colleagues were like, well, I got this number, but I really think I'm this type of thing.
So I did some digging into the Enneagram. We took it in my doctoral degree. There was a bunch of us that took it for fun. And I never really dug deep into it. I know Chris Muntz at the Corolosophy podcast actually had a class in it at the college level and brought on an Enneagram expert. But the way I explain Enneagram is it's more than just your personality. It's how your personality reacts. So some of the details you get after you've taken the personality, the Enneagram, is like their core motivations, core fears, core desires, and key objectives. And so what I love about it is if you go explore on Instagram, there's all sorts of experts that also add like, if you're a 7, this is what you should work on. If you're a 5, these are your biggest fears. So I'm a 7, and I love the 5 words they use to describe me. Playful, excitable, versatile, scattered, and an escapist.
That's funny. I love escapist.
So I'm a 7 because we're known for our eternal optimism, charisma, and fun-loving nature. An upbeat and inventive approach to things, coupled with an eagerness to explore new possibilities that causes us to have a broad range of interests, knowledge, and a wide social network. Their flexibility, love of life, ability to garner support, and contagious enthusiasm reflects the joy and abundance of God.
I love that. So true. Yeah. And the thing also that I like about Enneagram, so when you take yours, it's great. It's kind of eye-opening, but I love hearing about other people too, because it shows me like you are going to react potentially this certain way to this outside stimulus, and this helps me better interact with you. So yeah, we went around as a staff in my office, and we all did the Enneagram. We all talked a little bit about it, but it really does. So like, I know that if I approach the person that handles our finances at the church that I work for, like,
They're not a 7.
yeah, she's like, if I don't like it, I'm just not going to do it. Meanwhile, I'm like hemming and hawing over how do I make this so that everyone feels valued and comfortable, because I'm a freaking 9. And
Okay, so tell me about a 9.
Okay, so I am the peaceful mediator. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
So you're the peaceful mediator and I'm the entertaining optimist. No wonder we can do a podcast together.
We are living our best lives. Okay, so my core words are receptive, reassuring, agreeable, and then complacent. And that is not a lie. Because in my I'm like, whatever, this is fine. Everything's fine. It's like that picture of the meme with the dog, and he's in the green room that's really catching on fire, like, and he says, this is fine. Everything's fine. I feel like that's me when things are not like gelling.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
So 9s are people who are very receptive to their environment and downplay their own presence. They can be loving, down to earth, modest and trusting, or stubborn, lazy, and asleep to themselves. I have my core desire is to have inner stability and peace of mind. When I'm at my best, I am content, peaceful, relaxed, steady, stable, gentle, natural, easygoing, and friendly. And then my motivators, honestly, I feel like I am peace at all costs. That is who I am. And I find that even in interactions on things like committees or in professional situations or just with groupings of people, I feel best when everyone is harmonious. And you know how it is, like when you get a group of people, I mean, together, like we have seen this, that have very different personality types and they bristle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's time for me to leave and go to the bar and get a drink while you guys duke this out. Have fun.
Which is so funny because like my core fear is being deprived or being trapped or limited or bored. But then I also have the fear of missing out.
No, it's real.
So like I couldn't go to the bar with you because I'd be like, what happens if there's a brawl?
I gotta be here to win.
I gotta be here. What I have found so interesting diving in and reading all the other different ones, because of course I got a 7 and I'm just like, well, let me read all the other ones and make sure this one fits me best.
Did also, we can go to this in a minute, but did your husband Spencer, did he take it too?
No, not yet. That would be hilarious though.
No, maybe not. Oh no, you are.
I would love to see what he gets. He would be funny. What I found so interesting though is I went around the circle. I'm like, oh, I'd really love to have someone like that's a number of this in my life. Or, oh, I can see how this one would really work well in my circle. And I can see attributes of the other numbers that I'm interested in, but definitely not my strengths. And I think that that's where the motivations come in. Because as I was reading other people, like other numbers' motivations, I'm like, oh, so like I am motivated by the wide variety of experiences. Like the idea of bouncing from one thing to another, keeping the options open and all of those, like that gives me joy and fulfillment and motivates me to keep going. But then there's other Enneagrams that no wonder they think I'm a lot to handle. They don't like change.
Right. There is, and so like it's said that in any grouping, whether it be professional or social or whatever, you want people that are multiple numbers. And the other thing that I learned this yesterday, was that it's set up like a circle, like a clock face with 9 at the top at 12 o'clock, and then 1 literally being at 1 o'clock all the way around, right? Mm-hmm. And the top 3, the top third is called the gut quadrant or the gut triad. Hang on, I have it. Words are hard. I feel like I say this every podcast.
Ooh, look at all those highlighted notes.
The gut triad. And so this is for 8, 9, and 1, right? And then the next triad is called the heart triad, which is like feeling center. So gut is instinctive. 2, 3, and 4, heart triad, that's feeling center. And then 5, 6, and 7, head triad, thinking center.
Oh, that's me, I think. I mean, I'd like to act from my heart. I'd like to think I act from my heart, but like...
Oh, and I'm a gut thinker. I'm like, I have this gut reaction, this gut feeling, and this is how I'm going to operate. Yes.
Girl, do you know how many times I'm like, I have a weird gut feeling about it, but my brain says go, so we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. This is such a cool thing. So if you haven't done your Enneagram, what a great thing to do this summer. We'll put the link to the test that Sandy sent in the episode notes. I just want to end with one of my favorite Instagrammers I found that has some great infographics, like quick one-lookers for Enneagrams. It's the Aim to Design Instagram. So it's at aim to design _. And she posted a series of pictures on, not gonna lie, this annoys me. Sincerely, Enneagram, and then she put a number. So it's Enneagram 7. These are the things that annoy me. Being called childish or cute. When people belittle my dreams or ideas. Rigid things. Those who force titles or commitments before I voice my interest, and my favorite, being told that I am too much. Sorry, not sorry.
We talked about this before we even hit record. And I want to say this to anybody out here listening right now. If you have ever been told that you are too much, you're not. You are just enough. And how dare you put your little light under a bushel? You let that light explode into the universe, and your people will find you.
Because that's 7s, and we can rock the world. I mean, we need 9s and 1s and 2s and all of them. But come on, 7s. You are not too much. You are not. The rest of the world just needs some sunglasses or something.
That is the best way to think about it. Just put on some sunglasses, but don't shine any less bright.
These are so fun. Do you have anything else you want to add about your Enneagram 9, my lovely peacemaker friend?
I found kind of an Enneagram type 9 overview. Like my core fear is totally being in conflict. I hate conflict, and it makes me anxious when that happens. And I've been in conflicting situations before, and I cannot get out of them fast enough because I just want everybody to freaking get along. I am afraid of being loveless, separate, uncomfortable, unimportant, overlooked, shut out, alone, or inharmonious. I think maybe the alone thing, like alone forever. But I desire inner stability, peace of mind. I am content, peaceful, relaxed, steady. That's my self-image. I like to be low-key and creative. Natural. I don't know about gentle. I don't think I'm gentle.
You're gentle when you're given great advice.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that. My weakness is stubbornness and complacency. Like, all of this is so true. I like to know that my presence matters. So if I'm going to do something, it's not like I need the pat on the back or that atta girl, but I want what I do to be meaningful, and I want people to, not me, but the meaning in the thing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel like doing this so much has helped me kind of look at what I'm working on this fall. Like as I'm planning out, I have a couple new classes I'm designing. And so as I'm designing these new courses, I'm thinking, okay, I'm a 7. So I teach 7. Like I teach different every class period. There's never the same lecture style twice because that's boring. But as I'm reading these other Enneagrams, I'm like, oh, okay, what can I do to ensure that my 1s aren't going ballistic in my class?
It would be interesting if you made your students do this, because you are going to have little snippets of every number, I bet, in the classroom community.
Fun. Or your choirs, like the people that you're around. This has just been such a fun conversation starter. The next time we're going to have to push pause because I'm guessing they're getting where they're going. We're getting close to the end of this one.
Your interpersonality friends, and you're psyched about the Enneagram.
I hope that you've had some inspiration to think about who you are to be the best version of yourself every day, which doesn't mean you have to change anything about yourself. The best version could be sitting on your sofa, watching Netflix, or conquering the world. Just showing up resilient, your own self. Don't worry about being anyone else's Enneagram number but your own.
For real. Yeah, just embrace, and your people will find you.
I'm so excited. Well, we want to know what your Enneagram is. So check us out on Instagram, Take Us With You Podcast. Let us know what you think. We will post up some fun stuff to inspire you. And we are so thankful that you listened. Thank you, my friends. I hope you're having a great summer. We'll be back next time unpacking the disc analysis.
We are very fancy. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and follow. And we look forward to seeing you next time.